At dinner, my wife threw hot coffee on my face when I refused to give my credit card to her brother. Yeah, that's how this circus started unraveling. The cafe was one of those overly modern joints she liked: tall windows, exposed brick, fake smiles from staff who clearly hated their lives. Her brother, Darren, sat across from me, all smug and twitchy like he was about to sell me a timeshare in hell. I already didn't want to be there. My steak was cold. My patience was colder. "Just hand him your card, Nathan," she said through gritted teeth, eyes drilling through me. "For what?" I asked, glancing at Darren. "You already said he got fired." Again. Darren smirked. "It's temporary. I just need help for a few weeks. I'll pay you back." That was a lie. His last few weeks turned into 8 months and a stolen PS5. "No," I said flatly. "Not this time." And then she did it. She picked up her cappuccino, still steaming, and splashed it straight into my face like she was baptizing the devil. I gasped, stumbled back, napkins flying. People stared. No one moved. "You selfish piece of garbage," she shrieked, loud enough for the next block to hear. "Later, he'll come to the house. Give him your things or get out." I looked at her like I was seeing her for the first time. But in truth, I'd seen this version of Chelsea creeping in for months. Arrogant, demanding, talking to me like I was her assistant, not her husband. But tonight, that was the mask sliding off completely. She stormed out with Darren like she was the queen of Gotham, and he was her jester. I sat there, burning, not just from the coffee, but from the humiliation. And in that moment, scalded and surrounded by stunned strangers, I made the clearest decision of my life. I was done. When Chelsea left for work the next morning in her usual boss bitch heels and perfume that could choke a horse, she didn't notice the fire in my eyes. She thought she won. But while she clicked away into her SUV, I was already packing. I moved fast. Years of memories reduced to boxes in 3 hours. I called my friend Drew, a divorce lawyer with a vengeance streak, and he brought over a real estate agent who owed him a favor. By 6 p.m., the house was empty, furniture gone, my wardrobe packed, everything with my name on it removed. Even the wedding photo. Especially the wedding photo. But I left the ring on the counter, sitting on a sticky note that read, "I owe you nothing. Tell your brother to call the stranger in the suit." Because I didn't just leave her. I sold the house. Chelsea came back that evening, heels clacking, Darren behind her like a cockroach in cargo pants. They opened the door, probably expecting to find me sulking, maybe begging, or even giving him the damn TV. What they found was a bald man in a gray Armani suit and black gloves, holding a clipboard. "Who the hell are you?" she screeched. "I'm Mitchell," he said calmly. "New owner. As of 3 p.m. "You're joking," she laughed bitterly, her eyes darting around the stripped living room. "Where's my stuff?" "Gone." "Ask your husband," Mitchell said, checking his watch. "And technically, you're trespassing now." Darren swore under his breath and tried to push past the guy. Mitchell didn't move, didn't blink. He just said, "I suggest you leave before the police arrive. This property is now under private surveillance." Chelsea looked around, panicked, like the walls were melting. Her face twisted, lips trembling not in sadness, but in shock that someone finally outplayed her. I watched it all from a safe distance, sitting in my car across the street, engine humming, window cracked. The satisfaction wasn't petty. It was justice. That was the moment she realized she wasn't in control anymore. But what she didn't know, what she still doesn't know, is that this was just the beginning. Because Chelsea wasn't just a manipulator. She was a liar. A dirty, two-faced liar. And I had just started uncovering how deep her betrayal went. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was heartbroken. No, that emotion hadn't even kicked in yet. I was running hot, pacing the floor of my friend Cole's guest room, thinking back over the last 6 months, piecing things together like a crime board. Chelsea had been different for a while, but I chalked it up to work stress. She worked in digital marketing, whatever that meant. So she was always on calls, typing furiously, glued to her phone like it was her second heart. I used to joke that she loved her iPhone more than me. Turns out I was way more right than I realized. That night, I couldn't help it. I logged into our shared cloud account from my iPad. She never realized I still had access. I pulled up the synced photo library, heart beating out of rhythm. And there it was. Dozens of photos I hadn't taken. Hotel rooms. Champagne flutes. Her hand in someone else's. A man's legs on a hotel bed, jeans unzipped, her bare thigh right next to him. Her reflection in the mirror behind him smirking. Not a trace of guilt. She was cheating. And not just cheating. She was flaunting it. She'd turned our cloud storage into a scrapbook of her dirty little getaway weekends. The last photo was timestamped from 2 weeks ago, same weekend she said she was visiting her mom in Phoenix. I stared at the screen, breathing slow, the rage cooling into something deeper, something quieter, something lethal. And then the video loaded. Chelsea, in black lingerie, holding her phone high, giggling. A voice off camera, male, cocky, saying, "Tell your husband thanks for the hotel points." She laughed. "Yeah, he's such a clueless puppy. Thinks I'm in Arizona." I dropped the iPad. That's when heartbreak hit me. Not the soft, teary kind. The kind that fractures something in your chest. All this time I was planning a future. A family. I was paying for IVF consultations while she was out doing that. I slept 2 hours. Woke up to a text from her. "Chelsea, where did you go? I'm calling the cops." "Chelsea, you're insane. Nathan, bring back my stuff." "Chelsea, you think you can just disappear like a little boy?" I didn't respond, but I did send her the video. No caption, just the video. Her typing bubbles popped up, disappeared, came back, disappeared again. Then she finally wrote, "Chelsea, you weren't supposed to see that. That's all. Not, I'm sorry. Not, it's not what it looks like." Just a cold-blooded, soulless line like that. I stared at those words for 10 full minutes. You weren't supposed to see that. Like I was intruding on her affair. Like I was the one in the wrong for catching her. Later that day, Cole and I met up with Mitchell, the new owner. We handled the final handoff of documents. He gave me an envelope. Inside was a cashier's check with more zeros than I'd expected. "Buy yourself peace," he said. Chelsea kept calling. I kept ignoring. Then she started emailing me, long paragraphs where she flipped back and forth between being the victim and the villain. One line stuck out. "You were never enough, Nathan. You're boring. Predictable. I need someone exciting." That one cut deep. Not because it was true, but because I believed I was enough. For her. For us. And that night, sitting in Cole's driveway with a six-pack and the iPad on the hood of my car, I made a new decision. I wouldn't just walk away. I wouldn't just disappear. Chelsea wanted excitement. She was about to get it. Because I was done playing the good guy. The next day, I made my first real move. I drove back to the city, not to the house, that was already off the chessboard, but to her office. I didn't go in. I sat across the street in a coffee shop and waited. At exactly 5:48 p.m., I watched Chelsea walk out the glass doors in her tailored coat, hair flawless, smile wide, phone pressed to her ear. She looked perfect, unbothered, like none of this had happened. Like she hadn't just poured hot coffee on me in public or gotten caught filming her fake vacations in hotel beds that didn't belong to her. A car pulled up. Sleek. New. Mercedes. Not mine. A man stepped out. Tan skin, stubble, dressed like an off-duty model. And the way she walked into his arms? Like I had never existed. Like 10 years of marriage had been a blurry placeholder for this smug stranger's smirk. They kissed. I didn't look away. Couldn't. Watching her with him, out in the open, wasn't just a knife to the chest. It was her way of saying, "I don't care anymore. Try me." He opened the car door for her like a gentleman. She giggled and slid in. They pulled off into traffic, vanishing into the city. I didn't follow. I went back to Cole's and opened my laptop. I had work to do. If she wanted war, she was going to get it. But not the dramatic, messy kind she thrived in. No yelling. No throwing. No fire. Just silence and consequence. I started gathering every shred of digital proof I had. Photos, videos, text logs, email threads, receipts, hotel bookings, even security footage from the house's smart cam that I hadn't disabled yet. She never realized I had full remote access to it. And in one clip, she brought that same guy into our house. Our bedroom. Our sheets. They didn't even close the curtains. Animals. I downloaded everything. Made copies. Uploaded to 2 cloud drives, encrypted with 2-factor authentication. Sent one folder to Drew, my lawyer. The other, I kept under a new alias. Just in case. That night, I messaged Chelsea from a burner account. Unknown. He doesn't love you. He's using you. You'll see soon. 10 minutes later, she messaged me directly. "Chelsea, you're pathetic. Is this your big revenge arc? I'm not scared of you." She sent a photo with it. Her and the guy, shirtless, cuddled under my sheets. My pillow behind his head. Her hand trailing down his abs like some twisted victory trophy. But what she didn't notice? The ring on the nightstand. My wedding ring. I had left it there when I packed. She was too busy gloating to realize she had just outed herself using my own clue. I didn't reply. I just smiled and sent that photo straight to her father. The man who gave me that ring. The man who had told me, over cigars one Thanksgiving, if she ever turns on you, don't let her bury you. Stand up and swing. He called me 3 minutes later. Tell me everything. And I did. From the coffee to the Mercedes to the hotel footage. He didn't interrupt. Just breathed heavily on the other end. I could almost hear his jaw tightening. You know she thinks I'll cover for her, he said. But she's wrong. The next morning, Chelsea texted me in all caps. Chelsea, what did you tell my dad? Chelsea, you had NO right. Chelsea, you ruined everything. I didn't answer. I went to the gym, lifted until my arms were jelly, then walked home with music blasting so loud I couldn't even hear myself think. But her words rang through anyway. You ruined everything. No, Chelsea, you did. And now, piece by piece, I was going to take everything back. That weekend, she showed up at Cole's place. Unannounced. I was on the porch, drinking black coffee, finally starting to feel like I could breathe again. The bruises weren't on my skin anymore. They were in my chest, wrapped around my ribs like ice. But I was standing, moving, breathing. That counted for something. Then I saw her car. Same one I leased. Still under my name. She stepped out like she owned the place. Tight jeans, red lipstick, the same fake confidence she always wore when she was about to pull some manipulative stunt. She walked up the driveway like we were in a rom-com and not an active crime scene. You need to stop acting like a little boy and talk to me, she said without even a hello. I sipped my coffee. You brought my card-stealing, rent-dodging, couch-surfing brother-in-law to dinner and demanded I hand him everything I own. You threw hot coffee on me in public. Then you cheated in our bed and filmed it. She crossed her arms. You weren't giving me what I needed. I set the cup down slowly. What you needed, I said, was to destroy every piece of me until I stopped recognizing myself in the mirror. Her eyes twitched. For a split second, I saw the mask slip. Then she doubled down. Fine. Yes, I cheated, she snapped. And I'd do it again. You bored me, Nathan. You're a walking spreadsheet. You don't know how to touch a woman anymore. You don't excite me. That guy? He makes me feel things. I laughed. Actually laughed. A dry, hollow sound I didn't recognize. You want excitement? He's got priors. Domestic stuff. DUI. You really think he's going to cradle your feelings at night? She flinched. She didn't know that. I stood up. Walked down the steps slowly. You didn't just cheat, I said. You weaponized it. You turned your betrayal into a game. Into a flex. She stepped back, lips parting slightly. Then her voice turned ice cold. I want the house back, she said. I want my half. You can't just sell everything without it. I didn't. I cut in. My lawyer sent you the paperwork. You signed power of attorney 2 years ago when you didn't read the documents I put in front of you. You were in too much of a hurry to get to a spa weekend with your girls. Her face went pale. And your car. I added. Repossessed Monday. Watch your mailbox. That was it. She snapped. You disgusting, bitter little coward, she screamed. You think this makes you a man? Stripping me of everything? I made you. No, I said, stepping close. You hollowed me out. You built your ego on top of my silence. She raised her hand. Not like she was going to hit me, more like she wanted to shove me off the ledge she just walked over. But she didn't. She stormed off, heels cracking on the concrete like gunshots. As she drove away, tires screeching, Cole came out from behind the door. Still think she's going to come around? He asked. No, I said, picking up my coffee. I think she just realized the game's over. That night, her dad called again. Apparently, she'd been crying to him, spinning her usual sob story about how I'd turned cruel, cold, calculated. He didn't buy it. He'd seen the video. She doesn't get to rewrite this one, he said. You gave her 10 years. She gave you a betrayal. And it hit me then. The marriage had already ended. Not when I left the house. Not when she brought another man into our bed. Not even when she threw coffee on my face. It ended the moment she stopped seeing me as a partner and started seeing me as an obstacle. I wasn't grieving anymore. I was unlearning. Unlearning the gaslighting. The manipulation. The months of walking on eggshells. I went to bed early that night. No dreams. No nightmares. Just silence. And in that silence, I finally heard my own voice again. A few days later, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring twice before picking up. Is this Nathan Miller? The voice asked. Who's asking? This is Officer Langston with the 14th Precinct. We'd like to ask you a few questions regarding a domestic dispute reported by your wife, Chelsea Miller. I paused, stunned for half a beat. She reported me? Yes, sir. She claims you threatened her and disposed of shared property without her consent. The audacity of this woman. After everything, I stayed calm. You'll want to speak to my lawyer. I can forward you his contact info. And I have documentation, power of attorney, sale records, footage, and screenshots. Lots of them. There was a pause on the other end. Understood. Please send those to this email. Thank you for your cooperation. I hung up, jaw clenched. That was her next move? Try to drag me into legal mud so she could play the poor victim card again? It didn't surprise me. But it made one thing clear: she was desperate. Later that night, my lawyer called. She filed a restraining order, Drew said, annoyed. No real evidence, just her word and some nonsense text she probably sent to herself from a burner. I sighed. Let her play her game. She's not playing it well. You want to hit back? Not yet, I said. Let her sink a little more. But I wasn't idle. I hired a private investigator. Not out of pettiness, but because something didn't add up. That guy she was with, something about him bugged me. His name, his face, his sudden appearance in her life. And a few days later, I got a full report. His name was Damian Collins. 3-time felon. Assault. Fraud. And worst of all, he had a history of scamming women, draining their bank accounts, wrecking their credit, and then disappearing. Chelsea was his next target. I stared at the report, half in disbelief, half in satisfaction. She wasn't just cruel, she was stupid. And karma was about to have a field day. That weekend, she called. Somehow got through. Her voice was shaky. Nathan, I think I made a mistake. I leaned back in my chair. Which one? Damian's gone. Took my wallet. My laptop. My phone. I don't know where he is. Should have used that sixth sense you always bragged about, I said flatly. This isn't funny, she snapped. I need your help. Please. I stayed silent. Just let her sit in it. You don't get to play righteous, she said, voice turning venomous. You pushed me to him. You ignored me for years. You made me feel invisible. There it is, I whispered. The greatest hits. Blame me for your decisions. I wouldn't have cheated if you... Don't, I snapped. Don't even finish that sentence. You cheated because you wanted to. Because you thought you were smarter than me. And now look where that got you. She started crying. Not soft sobs. Ugly, heaving, panicked crying. I'm losing everything. I waited a moment. Let it hang in the air. Then I said, good. And I hung up. That was the night it all turned. No more pain. No more confusion. No more asking myself where I went wrong. Because I didn't. She made her bed. Filmed herself doing it. Posted it on the damn cloud. And now she was sleeping in it alone. Without a bed. Without a house. Without a man to rob. And for the first time in over a decade, I felt free. A week passed. I didn't hear from her. No calls. No texts. No emails. Silence. It was the kind of silence that doesn't feel like peace, more like the eye of a storm. You just know something is brewing beyond the horizon. And I was right. On a Thursday afternoon, I got a visit from a mutual friend, Mara. She and Chelsea used to work together, back when Chelsea still had the decency to pretend she was a decent person. Mara was one of the few who stayed neutral after the split. She never picked sides, but she also wasn't blind. She looked worried. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, she said, sitting across from me, clutching her purse like it held secrets. But Chelsea's unraveling. I shrugged. Let her. She lost her job. Her manager found those hotel selfies. Apparently, she used the company card for one of her little weekend escapes. HR went nuclear. I blinked, then actually laughed. She always said they couldn't survive without her, I said. Turns out, they did. She's blaming you for all of it, Mara said. Telling everyone you set her up, you made her unstable, that you pushed her into someone else's arms. That's what narcissists do when the mirror cracks, I muttered. She also said you're trying to ruin her reputation. I stood, walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water. Cold. Steady. Clear. Unlike anything Chelsea had ever been. She ruined her own reputation the moment she made a highlight reel of her betrayal and uploaded it to our shared cloud, I said. I just pressed play. Mara nodded slowly. She's not okay, Nathan. She wasn't okay the moment she weaponized love. Mara stayed a little longer. We talked more, but I could see the sympathy in her eyes. Not for Chelsea, for me. For what I went through. What I crawled out of. And after she left, I sat on the balcony and just breathed. There was still that part of me, buried deep, that remembered the good moments. The way Chelsea used to fall asleep on my chest, the way she smiled when I brought her coffee in bed, the way she'd trace circles on my back with her fingertips when we watched movies. But those memories now felt like echoes of a dream I never actually had. Because behind every sweet moment was a lie waiting to bloom. The next morning, I got another call from Officer Langston. "We've detained Mr. Collins," he said. "Caught him trying to use your wife's credit card at an electronics store. He had multiple IDs on him." "I'm not surprised," I said. "Chelsea gave him everything. Seems like he gave her quite a few things too. She's pressing charges." I paused. "Of course she is. You're not listed as a victim in this, but her lawyer's been trying to reach you. She's claiming some of the funds used were community property, and—" I cut him off. "My lawyer will handle it. I'm done talking about her." But I wasn't done thinking, because that's when I realized the final nail was coming. She was cornered, broke, alone, and desperate. That night, it happened. She showed up again. Not at Cole's. At my new apartment. How she found it, I don't know. Maybe Mara. Maybe she followed me. I'd underestimated her before, and it nearly destroyed me. I wouldn't make that mistake again. I opened the door just enough to see her. She looked like a ghost. Pale. Makeup smeared. Hair a mess. She wasn't the composed monster I'd last seen. She was cracked glass held together by lipstick and pride. "Please," she whispered. "Can we just talk?" I didn't answer. "I don't want anything," she said quickly. "Not money. Not the house. Just 5 minutes." I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. "You've got one." She looked up, eyes rimmed red. "I messed up. I know that. But you have to believe me, Nathan. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. You meant for it to hurt. You wanted it to hurt." Her lips parted like she might argue. But there was nothing left in her. No venom. No fire. Just the last smoke from a burned-out engine. "I lost everything," she murmured. "And I know you're probably happy about that." "I'm not," I said. "I'm free." "That's not the same thing." "I miss you," she said. "No," I replied. "You miss control." She nodded, silently. For once, no performance. No crocodile tears. Just truth. Ugly and late. I walked away. I didn't slam the door. I didn't say goodbye. I left her standing there, finally alone in the wreckage she built. And this time, I didn't look back. Weeks passed. The storm faded. Calls stopped. Her name stopped popping up in my inbox, in texts, even in conversations with mutual friends. It was like the universe finally put distance between us, sealed the wound with time and silence. But healing doesn't come just from absence. It comes from understanding. And that's what I was doing now, understanding. I started therapy. Something I used to scoff at. Now it was a lifeline. My therapist, Jordan, didn't coddle me. He made me face things. The patterns. The quiet moments when I knew something was wrong and stayed silent. The way I gave and gave, until there was nothing left of me but a worn-out outline. "She didn't just cheat on you," Jordan said one day, bluntly. "She fed off you. Parasites don't say thank you." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I kept waiting for the version of her I fell in love with to come back. She never existed," he said. "She was just the sales pitch." That hit hard. But it was true. Looking back, I could see it all more clearly. The little lies she told early on, the ones I let slide. The way she manipulated conversations, always making herself the victim. How she needed me to apologize, even when she was the one who messed up. I remembered once, years ago, when I caught her texting her ex in the middle of the night. She swore it was innocent. "He was just going through a tough time," she said. I bought it. I wanted to believe I was with someone who just had a soft heart. But she didn't have a soft heart. She had a cold one, wrapped in lace. I started rebuilding my life from the ground up. New place, new schedule, new circle. I picked up boxing again. Signed up for a hiking group. I even adopted a dog, Black Lab, 6 years old, named him Chance. Fitting, right? He listened better than she ever did. I didn't date. Not yet. Not because I was scared, but because I needed to remember who the hell I was before I became her puppet. One night, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. It was her. "I don't expect you to respond. I just needed to write this. For myself. I ruined everything. I know that. I thought I could always control the game, but I ended up burning the board. I wanted to hurt you because I felt empty. I blamed you for that emptiness. But it wasn't yours to carry. It was always mine. I see that now. I see everything. And I'm sorry." There were more words. Pages. Actually, regrets, excuses, half-truths soaked in guilt. I folded it up and set it on fire in the kitchen sink. Forgiveness doesn't require a stage. It doesn't need applause or a dramatic moment of reunion. It just needs release. And I was ready to let it go. Chelsea wasn't the love of my life. She was the lesson. A brutal, unforgettable, necessary lesson. And here's the truth I wish I'd known sooner. Sometimes, the person you fight hardest to keep is the one sent to teach you how to leave. To anyone reading this, or listening, or stuck in their own version of this mess, here's my advice. Don't wait for her to throw coffee on your face. Don't wait until the hotel photos show up. Don't wait until you're standing in an empty house with a stranger in a suit telling you your life has been sold. You don't owe loyalty to someone who treats your love like it's disposable. You owe yourself the escape. And once you're out, don't ever go back.